Picture this. You're watching a video. The room around you fades. Your focus narrows to a rectangle of light. You nod along. You feel informed. Then a strange question slips in. What if this rectangle is a cave wall, and what you're seeing are just shadows? That question, uncomfortable, disrespectful to our confidence, is the battery that powers one of the most famous stories in philosophy. It's short, eerie, and lethal to complacency. Plato called it an allegory. Most of us call it the cave. By the end of this video, you won't just know the story, you'll use it. We'll put modern shadows under a spotlight, map the way out, and ask a final, hard question. If you escaped, would you come back? Part 2. What counts as a cave now? Before the torches and chains, translate the cave into your life. A cave is any environment that controls what you see, when you see it, and how you interpret it. It can be charming and voluntary. Your feeds, your friend group, your favorite pundit, your For You page. It can be accidental. The constraints of your job, your metrics, your habits that filter reality into bite sizes. A cave feels safe because it makes the world small and legible. That's precisely the danger. Plato knew that education isn't just adding facts. It's turning the whole person around, away from shadows toward what actually is. He's not scolding. He's staging a jailbreak. Part 3. The prisoners and the wall. Now the scene. Deep underground, a row of prisoners face a wall. They've been there since birth, chained by their legs and necks. Behind them is a fire. Between the fire and their backs runs a walkway where puppeteers carry objects, statues, tools, animals. The fire throws shadows on the wall. The prisoners name the shapes, debate them, assign awards to the cleverest shadow forecaster. To them, the wall is reality. The sound of voices bounces off the rock, appearing to come from the shadows themselves. No one suspects the walkway. No one imagines a world beyond the chamber. If you've ever been certain a headline was everything, or that a number on a dashboard captured the whole story, welcome to the wall. Part 4. Breaking the chain. Plato doesn't explain how it happens. Someone loosens a shackle. One prisoner stands, wobbly, eyes stabbing with pain. He turns around. The fire blinds him. The puppets look fake and awkward. He denies what he's seeing because the familiar wall was clear, and this is chaos. That first turn hurts. It always does. A guide drags him up a steep tunnel, out toward the mouth of the cave. The incline burns his legs. The light pins his eyes. The new sounds feel hostile. This is Plato's description of education. Not candy, not dopamine. It's disorientation followed by vision. We don't accept new truth because it's nice. We accept it because we slowly become able to see it. Part 5. Outside. Water, trees, stars, and the sun. At the surface, the freed prisoner squints. First, he sees shadows of real things cast on the ground. Then their reflections in water. Then the things themselves. Trees, animals, people. At night, he makes out the stars and the moon. Finally, with time and practice, he lifts his gaze and meets the sun. In Plato's language, the sun is more than a star. It stands for the form of the good, the source that makes reality intelligible and life worth living. The good is what our judgments secretly aim at when we say better, truer, more just. We don't invent truth by committee. We train our minds so truth can show itself. The sun is the power by which anything is visible and the measure of what's worth seeing. This is a reversal of how we often think. We chase information. Plato says, chase orientation. If your inner compass is bent, more data just gives you more precise mistakes. Part 6. The return and the backlash. Why end here, on a mountaintop with sunlight and answers? Because Plato isn't writing a nature documentary. He's writing a political drama. The freed prisoner goes back down to help. His eyes, redark adapting, can't read the shadows as fast as the prose. The cave pundits laugh. He went up and came back blind. They warn the others that the journey ruins your eyes and your life. If he insists on pulling people up, they might kill him. It's an ugly moment. Truth meets invested illusion. People aren't stupid. They're attached to status built on shadow skills, to belonging in the gallery, to certainty that the wall is all there is. The cave isn't only about gullibility, it's about costs, social, emotional, professional, of seeing differently. Part 7. What Plato is really arguing. This is not a fun story with a moral. The cave compresses Plato's deepest claims. He's arguing about knowledge. Opinion is what we form from flickers. Knowledge is contact with what holds steady. He's arguing about education, not content delivery, but a turn of the soul. He's arguing about ethics. The good isn't a trend, it's the condition for meaningful action. He's arguing about politics. The best rulers are those who've seen beyond the wall and return reluctantly, not because power flatters them, but because justice demands it. He is also warning teachers, journalists, leaders, and creators. If your work only moves shadows faster, you're making the cave more entertaining, not people more free. Part 8. Our caves, our shadows. Translate again. Fire equals attention. Walkway equals production machines, studios, platforms, propaganda shops, even well-meaning institutions. Shadows equal clips, takes, metrics, dashboards. The awards for Best Shadow Forecaster are real. Promotions, followers, profit, credibility. Algorithmic feeds are exquisite fire walkways. They don't only show you shadows, they learn which ones you love and then breed them. There's another layer. We bring our own chains. We like being right among people who like us. We prefer clear, viral, now, to complicated, patient, maybe wrong. You can live your whole life heroically inside a cave and never see sunlight once. The allegory is rude about that, and kind. It offers a handle out. Part 9. How to step out without becoming a hermit. Escaping a cave is not a one-time event. It's a practice. Here's how to build it into your week, inside the real constraints of work and life. Begin with a turn. Pick one topic you're confident about, nutrition, a policy, a rival team, and read the best argument against your view from someone credentialed, not a caricature. Expect the burn in your eyes. That's the fire's afterimage, not a sign you were wrong to try. Change your inputs strategically. Diversify one feed. Subscribe to a long-form source you disagree with once a week. Replace one outrage scroll habit with a primary source. Read the study, the law, the transcript. Shadows fear context. Make reality checks routine. For work. If a dashboard number goes up, ask what in the world it stands for. For relationships. If a narrative about someone calcifies, ask them a question that could disconfirm it. For self. If you tell yourself a story, I'm not creative, I always. Design a small experiment that could prove you wrong. Move toward better light. In Plato, the order matters. Shadow, reflection, Object, sky, sun. In practice, that looks like headline, multiple sources, first-hand evidence, underlying structure, guiding value. Don't skip to the sun in one leap. You'll stare at abstractions and call it enlightenment. Take the stairs, and crucially, come back down. Share what you find without contempt. Translate, don't sneer. If you can't explain an insight to the cave without humiliating the people inside it, you haven't escaped. You've just found a loftier seat. Closing challenge. Which wall owns you? We'll end where we started, with your rectangle of light. Name one wall that owns too much of your attention this month. Is it a metric? A personality? A cozy narrative where you're always the misunderstood hero? Write it down. Then design a micro-escape. One source outside the cave. One conversation that risks embarrassment. 1 hour each week spent on reality checks instead of shadow commentary. Here's the promise buried in Plato's severity. The world outside the cave is richer than the most addictive feed, and the clarity you gain there will make you harder to manipulate and faster to help. Step out, learn to see. Then, when your eyes can bear it, step back in and light a path for someone else. If this opened a door, press like to push this video beyond the cave, and subscribe for weekly episodes on the biggest ideas that actually change how you live.